Hello, I have a question.
Okay, Kerry.
I'm here.
Okay. Hi, Kerry. It's Mark. We spoke a few times, and I'm ready to do my notice of appeal.
All right.
I already did my motion of ejection and correction. We spoke a couple times. Is it best just use their own form for the notice of appeal?
Well, anytime you can use their form, it's not just better for them, but it's easier for you. You don't have to come up with the double space, italics, and all that.
Okay. And we spoke to about 3 weeks ago, and I think you said you did about 3 or 4 appeals. How have they been going? Have you been winning them all?
Well, when you say winning them all, we were doing very well with it, and then all of a sudden the COVID hit. Since COVID has hit, they haven't answered us. All they're doing is asking for an extension. They're asking for an extension, but what that does, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in a game, basketball, football, soccer, baseball, whether it's professional or Pee-wee league? Have you ever been in one?
Well, it depends on what your definition of game is. And
let's say a baseball game. See, if you're not in the stands, you have no way of seeing the game. By being there, we're still in the game. Does that make sense? See, we're still in the fight. Now, if you get a letter from the IRS and you're in the appeal, take the appeal, put it in the envelope, and mail it back, because that case has not been adjudicated. What are they going to do? Come after you again and 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 again? They can't. So what you're going to do is you're going to tell them this case is in appeals. It has not been adjudicated. It ain't my fault it's taking this long. See? Once it's adjudicated, right back. Because what that does is that gives you relief. Does that make sense?
Right.
You know, if
they can't start anything while you're in court.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if you had relief from the IRS for 9 months, would that be a victory or would that be a loss?
It'd be a step in the right direction.
There you go. See? So that's all I can tell you. I can't tell you what they're going to do or how they're going to do it. All I can do is I'm doing my best to be a shield to help you in your endeavor. That's all I am here. But the problem they're having with me is I don't think like anybody else. And the way I'm thinking, I'm putting them outside. They're scratching their watch and winding their butt. They don't know what to do anymore. See, they don't know what to do. I'm going to share something with you. I told him I wouldn't, so I'm not going to use her name. See, now I said she and he. Now you won't know who it is. I'm not going to tell you the state because that's irrelevant. You can tie it together, so I'm not going to tell you the state. But the guy or the girl that had they had a Skype. That's where he was in front of a judge, a United States federal district judge. He was in front of an IRS agent, and he was in front of a DOJ attorney. And what they were trying to do is they were trying to take, I'm going to just say, his house. Okay? That's not exactly true, but I want you to know I'm not unsincere. I'm trying to keep it from being able to tie it to Billy Bob. That way he's not called. How did it go? What did you do? I'm going to give you the basics what we did. Okay, I have a process that I put together. And he used it. He stayed on point. And basically what he used as his staple or as his foundation, or what she used as her foundation, was the court order that she got from the tax court. We got a certified copy, and he had it there. And the IRS agent said, well, you didn't file your taxes. Again, I'm not going to use the exact year so that,
no,
again, I'm just trying to protect him. Okay, for 2017, you owe us $82,000 for 2017. So the guy basically says, well, you never gave me a notice of deficiency or notice of determination for that. He said, you're not reading that right. The judge stepped up and said, excuse me. DOJ attorney, Billy Bob, said, yes. Weren't you the guy that wrote the motion for the commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service as I see it on my copy of this tax court order?
Motion.
The motion. He wrote the motion. The attorney goes, yes, Your Honor, I did. He said, well, now, here's where the problem comes. Did Billy Bob, the CID agent, did he give Mr. Mary Lou a notice of deficiency, a statutory notice of deficiency or a statutory notice of determination for years 1991 to 2026? And so the attorney says, they said they didn't. So the judge said, you got the cart before the horse. If you talk to this man again, he says, you're going to jail on the grounds you have no jurisdiction, or did the attorney perjure himself for you? So the IRS CID said, no, sir, he didn't. No, sir, he didn't. So the judge says, Miss Billy Bob, will you accept my motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction until you get any and all notices in a timely manner? He said, yes, I will. He said, okay, I'll have it signed and sent out tomorrow. It lasted about 20 minutes. And what they were trying to do is they were trying to move him to the next spot. So what we were able to do by using the approach that we are using now, he was able to not only stop the CID from moving forward, he was able to digress him. Now, the reason we go to the appellate court, as long as there's an action filed, it puts the IRS in a real peculiar situation. I hope that makes sense. So,
yes, it does.
Okay, go ahead.
Brings up one question. Particularly with my situation, this was my second petition that you said. My question is, why did we change course from filing a third petition to going to the appellate court?
Well, if you want to file a third petition, you're welcome to it. But what's happening is we have filed probably 50 or 100 third petitions. What it's doing is the court comes back and says, this is a duplicate of the one we've already done. It's dismissed. And we don't even get the ink don't even dry. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to put them in a position that's no longer there. It's in the appellate court. So if we fill the appellate court up, if we get 750,000 appeals from the tax court to the appellate court. The appellate court's you're going to file an appeal, and you're going to be there 7 to 10 years. But during that 7 to 10 years, the IRS is really going to have a difficult time coming after you because, hey, wait a minute, this has been adjudicated. See, now we have something that they pick you up and they're going to put you in jail. You now have the guy that just asked me that, can I ask you a question?
You talking to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
go ahead.
Now, there's no right or wrong answer. Do you file the 1040?
What is a 1040?
Okay, it's a tax return. Do you file a tax return, a 1040 tax return?
Oh, according to the 1040 instruction.
Okay. TMI, you just shot yourself in the foot because they're going to come back and see you told them your defense. We're playing poker. Okay? And you shoot me. Oh man, I just got my fourth deuce. Yeah. Everybody's going to flap their hands down, and I'm going to win, but I'm going to win nothing. Do you understand that? We can't show them our cards because then they're going to come back and they're going to say, well, that doesn't count. What we're going to do is, does that make sense? If they ask you one question, they get one answer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, the answer is no. Why? Now you tell them. See what you've done? They've had to ask you 3 questions to get one answer. What that does is that puts you in the position you want to be in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, I'm drunk. I'm shit-faced drunk. I'm driving an old ragged car. Would you rather drive or would you rather be the passenger?
None of the above.
See? That's what we're trying to keep you out of. See? They're drunken sailors, and what they're going to do is, did you file 1040? No, because. Okay, then they're going to run you down the road, and you're going to realize, God, dog it. I just answered 26 answers. 5 of those are damaging to you. Does that make sense?
Right.
I'm just trying. Again, okay. Do not take this as I'm browbeating you. Do not take this as I'm arrogant and I'm smarter than everybody because I'm not.
No, I take this as you're trying to help.
Okay,
You're taking extra time to help somebody.
Right. Yeah. So what you want to do, see, is you want to answer the question, and that's not so bad. See, do you file a 1040? Well, I might, but what is a 1040? See, well, I file a 1040. I use it every day because I got a can of WD-40 in there, and no, that's not me. Oh, I didn't know. See, if I don't understand, I have a right to have clarification. Does that make sense? Yeah. But you also can't go, I don't get it, and run them off the cliff because they'll put you in jail for contempt. So you have to understand, all I'm trying to do is when they get 5 questions out of me, they've asked me 35 to 40 questions. That's what I want. See, I want this in court. Who's on first? What's on second? See, because what it does is it frustrates them just as bad as it does anybody else. But I can't answer a question if I don't understand it. That's all I'm trying to say. Thank you for that, and don't take it the wrong way, please, because I'm not here to show you I'm smarter than the next guy because I'm dumb as a
I just see you're taking extra time to help somebody, and that's the way I look at it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Now, let me ask you another question.
You don't have to. Go ahead.
What's that?
Go ahead.
No. Okay. Do you file a 39261.55 form?
I don't understand what that form is.
Why not? Okay, why not? If you don't, I'm going to put you in jail. See, there's no difference. I don't understand. I don't even know what the heck it is. Tell me what it is so I can tell you. See, that's what we're trying to do. See, because once they tell you, well, that's the return you have to file. Oh, according to under the Privacy Act, Paper Reduction Act, page 100 of the 1040 instruction booklet, it says I have to file a return or statement. It doesn't say 1040. So I file a 91026.55 BB4. Why do you do that? Why wouldn't I? See, now I control the argument. See? There's no such thing as a form like that. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you. Now, is anybody in front of a computer, and I'm going to show you why I'm real careful with this. If anybody's in front of a computer and can look something up for me, and that's not really for me, it's for everybody on here.
Yeah. I'm not in front of one, but I can get in front of one in a couple minutes.
Okay, we'll go right ahead. And in the meantime, does anybody else have a question? Okay, we're going to have a short one tonight.
Okay.
If you can't ask a question, we won't know where to go.
I have a question.
Okay.
Are the responses all the same, or do they vary?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
They vary some, but they're very similar. Does that make sense? Every once in a while, we'll get one way out in left field. But mostly what they're doing now is they're saying, well, you're asking for 2000 to 2020. You never received a statutory notice of deficiency. Well, they said they gave you one for 2013, and they gave you one for 2019. So we're going to have to say that they did, and so we're going to dismiss this case, but we're going to add I forget the word that they're using in it. So then what we do, we go back instead of chunking it out. We go back and say, oh, since I gave you one for 2013 and I didn't receive it, it has to come certified or it has to come registered. There's our answer. Since they said they gave me one and I didn't get it, why can't they, Judge, Your Honor, make them show us the signed, registered mail or return receipt requested, the certified mail, so that I can understand because I never received it. See, so what we're using is what they said. Now, the last meeting I had with them, what basically was said was the guy that met with them, I told you yesterday, it could have been 2 days ago, maybe it was Monday, but it doesn't matter. He or she, basically, when they went in there, they started pouncing right away. And the one thing you do is you stay calm. The first thing she said, I was very excited about it. He says, CID agent, before we get started, I just want you to understand anything you say can and will be used against you. First thing he said, what do you mean? I don't mean anything. I just mean anything you say can and will be used against you. That goes for the FBI agent, the CID agent. That goes for anybody else on this Skype, whatever it was, Zoom, Skype line that's on there today. Anything you say can or will be used against you. Then the judge says, okay, we got that out of the way. So now, does that make sense? So what you're going to get is you're going to read what you get. Most of the time you get most of it. They're not giving it to us just a blanket anymore. But if you go to 2000 to 2020 on both, they'll miss a year here or there. You can be sure the reason they took those out, they're after you for something in those years. This is going to be an indication that they're going to come running at you as hard as they can. So we just go ahead and we go back and do a modified motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction on the grounds I never received a statutory notice of deficiency. That has to come certified or registered see Title 26, and then you just tell them what case it is. Right this minute, I just drew a blank and don't know. If somebody knows, they can tell it. See, so what we're doing is we're filling in the holes as we go. If they finally say, no, we got the final order, then that's fine. You'll have 2000 to 2007, 2010 to 2015, 2019 and 2020. Then you just go back and do another one, picking those 6 or 8 up. Then you'll have to, every time you do it, you have 2. All you have is 2 certified copies. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Well, it's my pleasure. All right, Guy, are you in front of your computer now?
Yes.
All right. I want to ask you a question. Do you file any form for the IRS? Any form at all?
No.
Okay. Is that wise?
I don't understand.
Okay. See, I don't care what you say. I'm going to make you defend it. All right. Is that a wise decision to make, that you file nothing for the IRS? Is that a wise decision?
I don't know what wise decision means.
Okay. Well, do you know what the word form means? F-O-R-M.
Not sure. Would you please define it for me?
Yes, I will not. I'm going to have you define it. I want you to put in on your Google line or whatever you use, put in form, F-O-R-M, definition, Black's Law Dictionary. I'm going to have you read it to us. And we're not running a race. What we're trying to do is we're trying to set you up in a position when they call you on the phone or when they write you a letter, you understand where these idiots are coming from. If you would, look up the word form, definition, Black's Law Dictionary. And the reason I'm saying that is if you don't do one, you could go to jail. Well, you might end up in court, or you might end up getting a letter from an attorney, or you might have to defend yourself with the DOJ. All of those are legal. So we want to set you up when they ask you a question, it rolls off of your tongue. Does that make sense?
Right.
All right.
Yes, it does.
Have you found it yet?
Yes.
Now, would you read
a model?
Okay, start over. I'm sorry, and go ahead. I won't interrupt you. I don't want you to read it fast because I'm going to stop you along the way.
Okay. A model or skeleton of an instrument.
Stop from me right there. Hold on. Stop from me right there. So what is a form?
It's a model or skeleton of an instrument.
Kind of. Maybe. But why don't you do this? Read 2 more words in there, and then I'll stop you. So start over and read it again, and I'll stop you. Go ahead.
Okay. A model or skeleton of an instrument to be used.
Stop. So first of all, what is a form?
A model or a skeleton of an instrument to be used.
So hold on. It's a model or skeleton of an instrument. Now, we're going to finish up what it does. So, would you not agree by Black's Law definition that a form is an instrument? Would you agree to that? It's a model or skeleton of an instrument. Would you not agree to that?
According to Black's Law Dictionary, yes.
Okay, now we're going to get back to that. So, if you would, let's look up what instrument is. See, we have to know this because do you follow 1040? No, why? Because I don't have to file. I don't have to do it because instruments aren't used in my field. Now I don't care how you defend it. See, you can defend it. Do you follow 1044? Nope. Why? Well, because that would be dumb. An instrument? Do you know what an instrument is? See, now we can quote what an instrument is. That will protect you. When you get it, I want you to put in instrument, definition, Black's Law Dictionary. you're going to see what they've done. Now, the lady that asked me a question, if you're still here, would you come back to the phone so I can ask you a question?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, you don't have to call me sir. Do you like chocolate?
What kind of chocolate?
Chocolate that has, the kind that has chocolate and milk in it.
Yes, I do like chocolate that has chocolate and milk in it.
Okay, in Texas, we put dog shit in it also. 2 scoops of dog shit for every 1 scoop of, see? Now, so can I send you how much dog shit, chocolate, and milk do you want?
But you didn't say dog shit before.
No, you did. You did not. You said what kind? Oh, I said.
I did.
See, that's what they're doing to us. So we have to understand. Did you know that a form was an instrument? Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, so do you fill out a 1040 form? No, why? Well, because I don't have to. Oh, you don't? Well, no, but you have to do an instrument. Oh, I didn't know. So what's happening is we're exposing ourselves to extra stress, extra pressure that we don't have to have. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I recognize your voice. That's the reason I picked on you.
Yeah, I know you did.
I know. But the point that I'm trying to make, see, you did a pretty good job by saying what kind of chocolate, because that's kind of, but again, the reason I go that extremes is to show you what they're willing to do. Guy, do you have the word instrument looked up?
Yes, I do.
Okay, now, I want you to listen to this definition. I'm not making it up because you're going to read it. Go ahead and read it.
Okay. A written document, semicolon, a formal or legal document in writing. Do you want me to continue?
Oh, yeah. You haven't got to the good part yet.
Such as a contract, deed, will, bond, or lease.
Now, stop right there. Did you know that a form was a lease? So, if you get paid $10,000, you're leasing it. That's what it says. So, what now you're under a whole different set of rules. Do you know what a will is? A last will and testament. Oh, now, all of a sudden, your money is now no longer a salary. It's a will. Does that make sense? If you want to read the rest of them, you can, but you got the basics. Did you know that a form was a instrument? Did you know that?
Yes.
I do now.
Okay. So what we're doing is when they ask you, see, it doesn't matter what you say, but here's what most people are saying. Do you follow 1040? No. Why? I'm not required. Well, what do you mean you're not required? Well, there's no law that says I have to. The answer to this would be, do you follow 1040? No. Why? Well, because I don't know what an instrument is. I don't have a will. See, now you ought to see the look in their eyes. What do you mean? Well, here, let me show you. Now I control the conversation. Doesn't that make sense? So here's my question to you: have you ever seen a ball game, whether it's Pee Wee League, marbles, I don't care what it is. If you're on defense the whole game and you never touch whatever puck, basketball, baseball, bowling, if you never touch it, what are the odds of you winning? You could win. It's not that you couldn't, but it's very rare. That's what's been the problem in the past. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You talking to me?
Okay. Now, the guy that's just spoke, you follow the 1040.
You asking her or me?
I'm asking you.
No.
Why? Okay, by your silence, you're going to jail because you're now breaking the law for willful failure to file the tax return. Next. Do you see? This isn't that easy. It just comes to me easy. I'm trying to show you. Ask me the same question so I can guide you on the right track.
Do you file a 1040?
No.
Form? Why?
No. Because the instruments that you're asking me to file under the 1040, I don't have any. I can't partake in them because I was born from two parents, and I have siblings. See now, because what does that mean? Well, if you read it, you can now do whatever you want, but you have to understand what they're asking. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you have a dog?
What is a dog?
Well, it's a pet. Do you have a dog?
What's a pet?
It's something that's real close to you. Do you have a dog?
What's close to me?
What's going to end up? What you're like now, I'm the judge. That's good enough. Put him in jail for 9 months for contempt of court. We'll just pick up right here. Next. See, you can only push it so far. Now, do you have a dog?
What's a dog?
Okay, jail time for you. So that they'll put you in jail and they'll give you 120 days before contempt of court. That's just what they do. See, in other words, you have to be more convincing of it. What I would say, do you have a dog? Well, I did, but I married her. She's my wife now. Why? Did you hear anything different? See, once I ask them once, or maybe twice, and they refuse to define it, I'll define it so far out in left field. Now, that's not what we meant. What did you mean? See, in other words, there's always a stopping point. Now, does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
See, now, I'm going to ask you a question, and then I'm going to show you what I do. I'm not telling you this is not legal advice. Please don't. Are you married?
I don't know what does married mean.
Okay, the woman at the well was married to the man she was with, but yet she wasn't married, yet she had 5 other husbands. See, I'll take that route if need be. Does that make sense? In other words, if they won't define it, I'll define it. It's a relationship.
Yeah, blow it to the ridiculous.
According to the Bible. See? No, that ain't what we're talking about. Oh, then what is it? See, I always have myself a way out. Does that help? Does that help you at all?
Yeah, we used to always blow it to the ridiculous.
Exactly.
To the outrageous.
Because the more ridiculous you are, they're going to say, well, no, that ain't what we meant. Well, I don't know. But let me back up just a second. What I start off with on every problem that I have, what I do is I send my glossary page. I have a glossary page of terms. Form is in there. Instrument is in there. Mm-hmm. See? And there's a few other words in there. When I send that to them, when I go to court, guess what they always say? We're not using
your definitions.
But they're not mine. They're Black's law. But that creates a gigantic benefit to me. See where I'm coming from?
Well, yeah, because they've admitted in court that there's no definitions.
There it is. We haven't had our meeting of the mind. Do you follow 1040? No. Why? Because you're not using my
definition of it.
Page. If you were using my glossary page, my definitions page, then I could tell you. But now I can't tell you. I don't understand the question. See, in other words, I always have a fallback position. In other words, I always have a position that keeps me safe. Now, I want you to listen to my story here. I have a crowbar, a baseball bat, and a hammer. What do you want me to hit you with?
Why would I want you to hit me?
I didn't ask you that. Too much information. Ask me the same question now, the same way, and I'm going to show you how I would have answered it.
Okay, I've got a baseball bat, a crowbar, and a sledgehammer. What would you like me to hit you with?
Good for you. Hit me with a Nerf ball. See, all you did is tell me what you had. Well, guess what? I got a Corvette, a helicopter, and an airplane. So what? See, that's normally how they write the letter. They'll say, we noticed that from the year 2017, you did not fill out a tax return, or they'll say a 1040. Now you got them. So what? According to the Privacy Act Paper Reduction Act notice, it says, see? And then what I do is I dig them a little. What I do is I take Black's Law Dictionary and define form, stick it in there with them, highlighted that. See? In other words, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I don't mean to pick on you all night. Now, does anyone else have something they could ask me or have a question that they would like for me to try? I don't know much, but
I'll tell you
I'll
what.
try my best. What's that?
Hello? Hey,
Yeah.
I would like you to ask me that question. Why I didn't fill out the 1040 form.
I don't ask that way. Okay, do you file a 1040?
No, sir.
Why?
Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the Constitution states that I'm not your jurisdiction, sir.
Now, what you just did is you just cut your own throat, bud, and let me show you why, okay? Now, please don't. I'm not saying anything about it. Now, are you in front of a computer?
No.
All right, the guy that's in front of the computer, would you look up something for me so I can show him why that's not a good answer?
Yes. Okay.
If you would, look up Title I, Section 1. Now, you got to understand something. The Constitution, we are not in a constitutional court. We're in a statutory court. So as soon as you bring in, okay, now wait a minute. Okay, do you pay property taxes for Hawaii?
I don't pay property taxes at all. I don't pay income taxes. I drive around in a car with license plate on it that says common law lawyer.
Good
and
for
I
you.
Go to court
Good
as
for
a
you.
consular at law.
Good for you. Okay, not everybody has got that far yet. Now,
what happens under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 is you just removed yourself out of their jurisdiction. They have no authority over you. And the penalty for that is...
I understand that. But most people are not capable of standing where you're standing. Now, would you, sir, read Article 1, Section 1? Here's where most people get hung up on.
No, Section 1. No, Section...
Title
Article
1, Section 1.
Section 8, Clause 17.
No, sir. That's not... Okay, now, wait a second now. I want you to listen to this now.
Oh, you want to start at Article 1. Okay, I'm sorry.
No problem. What I want you to do is I want you to read Title 1, Section 1 for me. Now, listen to this. This is normally what people run into. They're not advanced enough to stand in front of it, but they can beat them this way. Would you read Title 1, Section 1 for us?
You want me to read it again? Or him? Me?
Yes, please.
Okay. In determining the meaning of any act of Congress, unless the context indicates otherwise.
Stop right there. Now,
words.
Who wrote?
Okay.
Hold on. Now, who wrote Title 26?
Congress.
Okay. Now, it does not say any act of Congress that has been enacted in a positive law has not been see, the problem is we're in a statutory court. If you can do what he said, that is the best way to do it. But if you're not ready for that yet, now go ahead and read what it says. In any act of Congress, unless we tell you otherwise. Go ahead and read the next one.
Words importing the singular include and apply to several persons, parties, or things.
So the singular means one, unless they tell you, but it really doesn't. It means 1, 2, 3, 5, whatever they decide, unless they tell you otherwise. That's the reason I make them define everything they say. Now let's read the next line.
Words importing the plural include the singular. Words importing the masculine gender include the feminine as well.
So
words used in the present. Okay.
What's happening is they're using a statutory court. If you can go in there and ask them what he said, no question about it. You're bringing in the Constitution. But for those of us that aren't ready for that yet, most of us drive with a license on our car. Man, I gotta praise that guy for that. Thank you for that. I wish I could do that. I haven't been able to do that yet. But so that means if you're married to a woman, and I was to accuse you of being married to a man, I could get away with it because unless they tell me otherwise. So we don't have to read the rest of that. If for those of you that want to read it, go on Title I, Section 1 to read it. But what they're saying is up is down and down is up. See? And I know people that have gone in there and said that to the judge, and they would put them in jail for talking about the Constitution. So if you feel comfortable doing that, that's your answer. But for those
Can I say
of
one
us
more
that
thing?
are, yes, of course. This isn't for me. This is for all.
Yeah. See, I don't.
Sure.
First of all, I don't go to court very often. It's all in the paperwork. I just sent a notice that basically they violated the constitutional rights, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, because that states their jurisdiction ends at the property they bought. It doesn't go any further than that. And if you want to look up Leavenworth Railroad and Company versus Lowe, L-O-W-E, that judge makes it quite clear what jurisdiction means. There's a governmental paper, about 1,400 pages, that'll even give you more insight to.
Okay, you are correct.
But wait, let me finish.
Yes.
So when you just moved yourself, that's how you go from your common law court. Without getting out of their jurisdiction, you have no common law court. You can't even get one formed. And I've had it on the paperwork.
Okay, hold on a minute now. When you win a common law judgment, there is no common law sheriff to help you. So, for those of us that are not ready for that, I'm not saying you're wrong. That's not what I said. But for the 8,000 or 9,000 people that I have helped successfully, now we're also getting their money back. Now I found a way not to use the Constitution to go in using their statutes. By using their statutes, I can go and get your money back. Now, the guy that spoke to me, are you a taxpayer?
You talking to me?
Yes.
No, I'm not a taxpayer. I don't pay income, property tax.
Okay, now here's the problem. Okay, now, sir, here's the problem you're having. TMI. What you're doing is not only did you answer the question, but you want to tell me why. That wasn't part of the question. Now, I have a 2358C letter, and it says, "Dear taxpayer, we agree with you. You are not legally required to file a tax return." Most people I can get that for. Most people. So when the IRS writes them a letter, they drop that in the mail and they're done. Now, most people don't know how to do the paperwork that you're doing. You're probably 3 floors above, 10 floors above everybody on the phone. If you get with Ed, maybe we can help. You can get us some of your paperwork, and we can work together on this and get even more people out from under the ground.
Well, my paperwork has been posted all over Glenn's site on Yahoo.
Okay.
I
know Glenn. Me and Glenn ate lunch yesterday, and
I'll help other people with their cases.
What?
I said I give it out freely, and yes.
I give mine freely. There's no charge. I'm not saying that. It's not about the money, okay? That's not what it's about. But as long as we're using Federal Reserve notes, and you have to buy gasoline. And by the way, I want to ask you, where do you get your gasoline? Because I like the 58 cents a gallon less money right now. Where do you get your gasoline?
Well, where the closest gas station, wherever I'm at, usually Shamrock.
Okay, so you're telling me that they take the 58 cents off at the pump?
Well,
Well, see, no, now you're making. Wait a second. Here's what you said.
No, wait a minute.
I'm an asshole this way. Wait a minute. I'm an asshole this way. You said I don't pay any taxes of any kind. Now, that's all I'm saying. For those of us that can't get to where you're at right now, that's our ultimate goal. What I'm trying to help people find is their way, because there's a lot of people that get stuff in the mail that says you didn't file a 1040. Here's why, but we don't have to. I don't file one. Why? Well, the reason I didn't, because their statute says I don't have to. That's their statute. And that statute that they tell me about, it's easier for me to beat them in a statutory court because not every court will honor the Constitution, even though they should.
Well, I can tell you that's true. I can tell you that there's a judge down in Texas and his two sidekicks, we'll call them officers of the law, who stopped a young fellow for having 40 pounds of CBD oil in the car. They didn't know it was in there at the time they stopped him. They just stopped him and then found it. He is now out of jail, and we're preparing the lawsuit. And the judge, 2 officers are being prosecuted, and I got case numbers on that from the Department of Justice. So, yes, you can do these things, and it's really not that hard. But it all starts with Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, removing yourself from their jurisdiction, which puts you in we the people jurisdiction where you can get into the... Because Article 6 says they have to recognize previous documents, which includes the
I understand.
Northwest
but
Ordinance.
You and I differ here. How do you give the court jurisdiction?
How do I get the court jurisdiction?
How does anybody give the court jurisdiction?
Listen, the Supreme Court's made it well known they have a limited jurisdiction. And
so you can't give it to them.
Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 is about.
Okay, stop right there. Stop right there. That's not what. See, there we go again. TMI. So the next question you ask me, I'm going to run off at the mouth for the next 35 or 40 minutes. That does not do anything. I'm making it as simple as I can. When you walk into a court, that court never. There's two types of jurisdiction: in rem and in personam. In personam is subject matter. In rem is subject matter, and in personam is personal. How do you give the court jurisdiction?
How do I do what now?
All right. I walk into a court. I just got a speeding ticket. How do I give the speeding ticket court jurisdiction?
How do I give them jurisdiction? They assume it.
I'm going to ask you, how does Billy Bob next door give the court jurisdiction?
Oh, I don't give them nothing. That's what I'm telling you. They assume it. I'm going to tell them that they're basically being a fraud under Article 1. I'm not going to. Okay. Again, this is above the average person on the call. Okay.
The answer is you can't give it to them. Okay. Even if you try to give it to them, even if you don't know, you can't give it to them.
It's an inalienable right.
Because there you go. An inalienable right. You can't give it to them. So the easiest way to do that is let the person that's going here. Most of this isn't about speeding tickets anyway. What I'm doing, mostly what I do is IRS stuff and trying to get people's money back that we've had an awful lot of success with.
Yeah, well, congratulations. Like I said, I just don't know why. With about 90 days and a couple letters is all it takes, really, but you got to remove yourself from the jurisdiction. And I don't care whether it's the IRS, some government agency dealing with house, the sheriff trying to sell a house because of property taxes, drugs in the court. I don't care what they do. Once you remove the jurisdiction basically claim that they're a fraud because they got a boundary line and I'm not inside that boundary line. And they have no authority. Jurisdiction is sovereignty. Without it, you got nothing. Now, I'm not saying you can't win by their statutes at all. I believe you can. But boy, it's a lot of work, in my opinion. But if you got it down pat, then congratulations.
All right, no problem. But
have a good.
All right,
I'm going to sit back and listen.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so very much. Now, does anyone else have a question?
Hey, Kerry.
Am I still on the phone?
Go right ahead. What now?
If somebody wanted to get some more information, you said Glenn knows this guy. Can I send you or Ed
like said,
a
email
to get it?
He said he was all over Glenn's website. So I'm sure Ed knows Glenn, and if not, ask the guy if you can have his email addresses. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who he is. I don't recognize. I'm not saying I don't know him. I don't recognize his voice. So,
if you don't mind, sir, my email address is CharlieVan, CharleyVan.
Well, I'm sorry, you spoke too fast. Could you start over? It's loud over here.
CharleyDan.
CAN?
DAN.
Okay, DAN. Okay.
CharleyDan @gmail.com.
At Gmail. Okay.
There you go. Hey, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
that, okay?
Yeah, and
thank you.
One other thing I found that really
Thank you.
works in the courts is I sign all my documents under perjury, whether I'm representing someone or dealing with myself, because it makes it a court document before it ever gets there.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now,
thank you so much.
Does anyone else have a question? Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Thank you. Does anybody have a question?
I have another question.
Well, please ask it.
Is there a time frame that is involved when submitting the forms to the time that you receive the forms and then have to resubmit again, should that be necessary?
Okay. If that was to be the case, and let's say you got the form back and for whatever reason you didn't answer it, hey, who's ever making that noise, would you hit *6?
Yeah, somebody mute themselves, please.
Please mute yourself. Okay. If you go past the time, I'm telling you what I do. I'm not telling you what to do. What I do is I'll ask for an extension. And they almost all the time give me 45 days. So if you have 21 days to answer it, on your 20th day, just put in a motion for an extension. COVID has got me whatever, and put in an extension. They'll give it to you. Then now you have 45 more days to get yourself your paperwork in.
Okay.
Okay, let's say that you didn't do that. What I do then is I would go in and say, I want a finding of facts and conclusions of law. They're going to come back and they're going to deny it. Then my time starts back over. I'm not telling you to do this. I'm telling you this is what I do.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Did that help you?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
My pleasure. Okay. Does anybody else have a question? I'm sorry?
Yes, I have a question.
All right. Then please ask it.
Okay. I didn't file any forms for 2018 and 2019 with the IRS. I expect I'll probably be getting some from them. I've been following your calls on the website, the YouTube videos for a couple of years. The only question I have really is, do I need to go ahead and start the process before I get a notice from them or any contact?
Let me ask you a question, okay?
Yeah.
Would you rather have it before you need it or after you need it?
I'd rather have it before I need it.
Okay, does that answer your question?
Fair enough.
Okay. Now, you haven't filed any forms, so tell me what a form is, if you will.
I know that it's a skeleton instrument, to be used in a court of law.
It's an instrument. All right, it's an instrument. Yeah. So you look up instrument. See, so that's going to help you, I think, by understanding what you said. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't
listen, my battery is on 3%. So I'm probably going to lose here.
All right. Well, thank you for asking the question.
But I appreciate it. I'll be back on later.
My pleasure. Anybody else have a question? Okay. While you're thinking of your question, we had another guy. Well, he might have been a woman. They went to the IRS on a summons. When they got there, again, we did the same thing. I have the package put together and what it does is it tells them who they are and tells you who you are. And what that does is it helps you use Title 26 to keep them back. Now, when I was indicted, I did an outline of the 1040, the Title 26. And so in that outline, I found that the Title 26 is about 14,000 pages. It's about 8.5 inches thick. Now, under Paper Reduction Act, Privacy Act notice, it says, that's the Internal Revenue Service, legal right to ask is 6001, 6011, 6012A, and their regulations. Now, if they ask you to do something outside of those three regulations, for an example, you didn't file the 1040 form, so you're in violation of the law under 6942.356. That's irrelevant because it's not under those three sections. Therefore, the opposite of legal is illegal. That's why I always say anything you say can or will be used against you. So what you'll do is if you get a letter in the mail, and it'll say on it, this is for 1040 tax for years 2017. Normally it'll say in there 6339, 6906, 7102, whatever it tells you. Every one of those are illegal on the grounds they're not in 6001, 6011, and 6012A. Therefore, they're using felonies as a legal tool. And then I mail it back. That way you can have a quick access to a letter. What my pleasure is that once they start attacking, what this will do is this will give you the relief that you need, because the stress that they put on families is just off the charts. I talked to a guy today, him and his wife, after 36 years of marriage, broke up because of the IRS. And she just couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't take it anymore. So they split up. So my goal is, if I can, we need to get you something that relieves you from something. Now, we've had a lot of, once we went to the tax court, we've gone and had a lot of liens and levies relieved. And we've gone to the county and had them released. There's quite a few things that we're doing that are different than the I'm here by special appearance. Does anybody else have a question that I can try to answer?
Hey, Kerry, I got a question.
Okay. What's that?
So this is along the lines of the unfiled returns. I just got a letter today, actually. They don't mention any codes or anything, but they basically said they're attempting to get unfiled returns from you. That they're going to start contacting.
Okay. Are you in front of a computer?
One second here. Okay. Yep.
All right. If you would put in the 1040 instructions when you do, I'll show you how I put together a letter. I just take their letter and print their letter and stick it in the thing and mail it back. Now, when you find it, come back, just hit *6 and remute yourself and tell me you have it. I'm going to have you read it. I could read it to you, but it's so off the hinge that this will help you understand what they're trying to say.
Right.
Anybody else? All right. Does anybody else have a question? All right. The guy that's looking that up, are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm just letting it download.
That's okay. Do you file a 1040?
No.
Why?
Because the Paperwork Reduction Act, Privacy Act says that I can't.
See, now you have something you can defend. There may be a better defense out there, but I have kept myself from going to jail several times. The worst time I had it, they were going to indict me for 55 years. And 9.5 hours later, I only answered 4 questions. So because of the understanding of the words, I was able to keep myself from being harmed.
Right, I'm at page 100.
Okay, now, at the very top of it, tell me what it says.
Disclosure, Privacy Act, and Paperwork Reduction Act notice.
Okay, now, that's how you're going to write your letter. Now, Paper Reduction Act, Privacy Act notice. Now, I want you to look. There's 3 columns, the left, the middle, and the right. Isn't there?
Yes.
On the left column, take your eyes from the first word and just move it down until you see 6001. Let me know you're there, and I'm going to show you what you need to tell them on your answer to your letter.
Okay, so our legal right to ask for information?
Now, stop right there. Who's our?
The Internal Revenue Service.
Okay, let's read it that way. It's just a little bit easier to understand.
Okay. The Internal Revenue Service's legal right to ask for information is IRC Section 6001, 6011, and 6012A and their regulations.
Okay.
They say that
now stop right there. Who's they? Who's they?
Okay. The Internal Revenue Service. Wait. Those regulations will be they.
That's right. So the regulations say, what did they say?
That you must file a return or statement with us. Stop
IRS. Right there. Stop. Hold on now. What must you do? What must you file?
A return or a statement.
Nope. Or statement. Now, I file a statement every year. I type on a piece of paper, eat shit and die, and I put it in my filing cabinet. Now, how you answer the letter is that you have filed all of your statements, and all your statements are current. I'm confused. What are you trying to tell me? Now, what's the opposite of legal?
Illegal.
Okay, so if their legal right is in 6001, 6011, and 6012A, anything else in that Title 26 would be illegal, would it not?
Yes.
Okay. Now, my question is, that guy that said they picked him up and put his buddy in prison because he had whatever it was, I don't know what CBD oil, I think I know what it is. But see, if that's illegal, what's the difference between 60 pounds of CBD oil, 500 pages of child pornography, 250 pounds of cocaine, or anything other than 6001, 6011, and 6012A? What's the difference?
Nothing.
There's your answer. Now, if you will, go to Title 26, Section 6012, and let's read just the heading. And this will tell you. So, if the IRS said to you, well, you owe us 250,000 pounds, all right, dollars worth of cocaine, they couldn't do that. Why? That's illegal. So if they say you owe them money in 66522, whatever they say, other than those three sections, what they're saying to you is, you have bring us cocaine. See, that's what I stood on. When I stood on that, that's what saved my bacon. Now, I want you to read Title 26, 6012, just the heading.
All right. Persons required to make returns of income.
Okay, now, so there are persons required to make a file of income. See how we can use this now to our advantage?
Yes.
Let me make a recommendation. This is not legal advice. If I were you, I would print 6001, 6011, 6012, and their regulations and put it in a file. Then when the IRS writes you a letter, your answer is there. Otherwise, anything else they say would be illegal. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when you got your letter and it says that you owe however much you owe, see, then what you would do is now you have an answer for them.
Yes.
All right.
That's all. Thank you, Kerry. I appreciate it.
That's my pleasure. Title 26 is about 14, 13, 12,000 pages. It's 8.5 inches thick. If anybody wants to memorize it, I have a class that will let you memorize Title 26 over the weekend. So if you're interested in it, let me know.
I would definitely be interested in it.
Okay,
I would definitely be interested.
6001, 6011, 6012A, and the regulation. Nothing else is legal. You don't have to know. I don't have to know how many bullets Al Capone shot people with. Why? That's illegal. You don't have to know how much liquor you can feed to a child. Why? Because that's illegal. You don't have to understand how many pages of child pornography what you can have in your car. Why? It's illegal. How much cocaine you can have in your car. Why? It's illegal. All you have to do is know those three, and you don't have to memorize them. You just have to be familiarized with them. The reason I say that, do I follow 1040? No. Why? Because 6012A, in 6012A, persons liable. If you read it, you're not listed. But it's easier for me to tell you under the Paper Reduction Act. I'm trying to make it to where you can understand it. Now, if you want 6001, 6011, 6012A, and the regulations, Ed has it. We've already downloaded it and put it in a PDF for you. You'll also give you my outline. You do not have to memorize it, but be familiar with it. The lady that said she would like to know that. Would you come back on for me?
I'm here.
All right. What's the difference between child pornography and giving Jack Daniels to a 5-year-old? What's the difference?
It's illegal.
So it's nothing. There's no difference, is there?
No difference at all.
What's the difference between the Internal Revenue Service asking you any question outside of those three sections? What's the difference?
It's illegal.
There you go. Does that help you get your grasp around what they're trying to do?
It does for me.
Okay, so if you go to the tax court will give you and if you got an email tonight to get on here, you'll see mine in there. You'll see my court order where the superior judge of the United States Tax Court said, the commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service said he doesn't have jurisdiction because he violated 6212, and 6213A of the Internal Revenue Code. That says you have to get a notice of deficiency. Now, does anybody understand why they can't get a statutory notice of deficiency or a statutory notice of determination?
Because it doesn't exist?
No, it exists. It does exist. Sorry. That's okay. That's okay. The lady that said that, are you in front of a computer?
Yes, I can be.
Okay, when you get there, I want you to look at Title 26. You don't use this excuse, but I'm going to show you what it says. Look up Title 26, Section 6065, and read that to us, because Title 26 is a statute written by Congress, unless they tell you otherwise. See, Title 26, Section 6065 is a statute. So without that statute on your NOD, notice of deficiency, or notice of determination, it wouldn't be statutory. So what you say is, I never received a statutory notice of deficiency. That way, if it comes down to it, push comes to shove, you have one more piece of the pie. Would you read that to us?
Certainly. What was the, I apologize, had to get the
6065, Title 26, 6065.
Title 26.
That's the income tax, right?
Yes. Okay. It comes up under the U.S. Code, Title 26, Internal Revenue Code.
That's correct.
Okay.
If you would read it.
Wow, okay. Sorry, I guess I need to read it. Hold on.
Read it out loud, if you will, so we can hear it.
Okay. Okay. Wow. All right, so 26 U.S.C. 6065, verification of returns. In summary, publication title, United States Code, 2006 edition, Supplement 5, Title 26.
Okay, go ahead. 26.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Okay, that's not how it starts.
Oh.
Make sure you're on 26. Just go to 6065, and it's going to tell you.
Okay. I'm at the governmentinfo.gov. Is that where I need to be?
No, you need to be on Google, because sometimes what they do is these are attorneys that are running ads to pull you their direction, and they'll add their own commentary into it. So if somebody would find that for me under Title 26, 6065, you'll see that it's all done by bluff and stupidity.
Would you like me to read it?
Would you please?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm going to stop you along the way so we can ask some questions. Go ahead.
I'd expect no less. Except as otherwise provided by the Secretary, any return, declaration, statement, or other document required to be made.
Stop. Hold on. Now, would you read those four again? And now I want you to think about this. Would the notice of deficiency or the notice of determination, is it even possible that they would fall within one of these four areas? Go ahead and read it again.
Any return, declaration, statement, or other document.
Stop right there. Is it possible that a notice of deficiency? Is it possible that a notice of deficiency is any one of those? Is that even possible?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So there's a good chance that it's one of those four things. So now let's see what it has to have on it. Go ahead.
Required to be made under any provision of the Internal Revenue laws or regulations, shall contain or be verified by a written declaration that is made under the penalties of perjury.
Now stop. What are the odds of your notice of deficiency having under penalties of perjury on it? What are the odds?
You asking me or her?
Anybody is 0. Therefore, it's never statutory. That's why when we go to the court, we say it's not statutory. That right there proves it's not statutory. Now, don't use that as your first line of defense, because they're going to say, well, that doesn't mean us. That only means you. Well, it's not what it says. So we can back them into the corner. Anything they say can and will be used against them. What we're trying to do is, if you get a letter in the mail saying, well, you didn't get so-and-so, well, I never received a statutory notice of deficiency, and it says I have to get one under 6212 and 6213A. Maybe print those two out and have them ready. Because, see, if they don't follow Title 26, then there's not anything they can do. Now, they can do it, but so far we've been very successful. I have a guy that said he was going to be on here tonight. If he's here, he lives in the Alvin area. If you're on here, how long would you tell them how long it's been since they've come and got your stuff?
I'm on.
Okay.
And they haven't come and gotten my stuff.
When you followed the procedure that we put together, was it difficult?
No, it was not.
And how much they took everything except how much?
$90.37.
And how long did you live on $90.37?
Almost 2 years.
Now, how much are you getting a month? You can just round it up or round it. It doesn't matter. You don't have to tell us everything, but
over $4,000, including my pension and Social Security.
Okay, and his retirement and his military retirement. So he went from $93 a month to $4,000 a month just by following the process using Title 26. And I've helped probably close to 1,100 people that they were taking their Social Security. And when you're on Social Security and that's your only income, and they take everything but $5 or $100, it doesn't take very long and you lose everything you have. We're able to stop that by using Title 26 and have it reinstated. Now, we're working on a way to get the money back, and we're starting now to get checks from the Social Security Administration for taking it without jurisdiction.
Yes, they owe me over $198,000.
Yep, and we're working on that.
But I'm still getting my usual pension, Social Security, and my military retirement now.
Right. And
without anything taken out.
Right. So now, if he never gets it back, that's a tragedy. But he is now living. He can go, if he wants to go down and get a watermelon, or if he wants to go and buy a strawberry pie or whatever he wants to do, he's capable to do it because he's making enough money to do it. And see, what they're doing is they're violating everything. And what we're doing is we're leaning on pretty hard. Now, for those of you that have how do I say this? You're supposed to be getting something, Social Security, retirement, whatever it is, and they're taking it from you. There's a form that tells them to return it. It's a 12277 form. Now, you just fill it out the way it is and send it in. it's going to come back to you, and they're going to say we can't release the lien on the ground 6332J. Does anybody see a problem with that?
What was that form? 122 what?
77.
77.
12277.
Yeah, it doesn't fall under 6001, 6012.
All right. Illegal. So when they come back and tell you don't qualify because of 6332J, you now have something that you can build. See, now you can build a lawsuit. You cannot sue the IRS in state or in federal district court because they don't work for the federal government. The federal government works for them. That would be like saying, I work for Chevrolet and I'm suing GM. Well, that doesn't going to work. So what you have is you can sue the IRS in federal district court if you use a federal question. If you go to the United States District Court website, it'll tell you there's, 6 or 7 federal questions. Now that you did a 12277, they come back and say you don't qualify because of 6337. That now what they're using is a felony. They're using a felony as a legal tool because 6332J is not part of their legal right to ask. See, now you have a position that is much more favorable to you. Then once you get that released from the county, see, you could even go to the county now because, see, their IRS is going to say 6332J. You now have, they're outside of their legal right. Now you have something you can send to the county judge, to the county attorney. You now have a stand. The worst thing you can do is when I was a kid, my father, he worked for the phone company, and we moved around. I think I moved 4 times, and that's not all that many. But every time I would get somewhere, I was called the newbie. So you don't know anybody and all of that. Well, I'm telling you, these people ain't seen this argument. So when they come up, and we go back to the story where I was a newbie. So so the bully of the class, he's the guy that I was in the 3rd grade and he could grow a beard. He's been held back so much. And he said, I'm coming to take your lunch money. See? Well, that's what they're doing here. Well, their legal right to take it is in 6001, 6011, and 6012A, according to the Paper Reduction Privacy Act notice. Now you have a letter that you can send back to them saying, here's what you said, see Exhibit A highlighted. But here's what it says under the Paper Reduction Act. Let them make the move. They're going to go back to you. Well, we don't care. That's not what it means. Now you got them. See, now you've got them in a direct violation. It's a lot easier to eat an elephant one bite at a time. Does that make any sense for you?
You got 5 minutes, Kerry.
Okay. Now, does that help anybody understand? If they're taking your Social Security or part of it, you do a 12277. Send it to the county. Send it to the IRS. Go to the county and pull it, and it'll tell you where to send it. On the notice of lien, it'll tell you in there what the address is from the IRS that has you. Now, I live in the Dallas area. When I had my liens, what it said was they came out of Ogden or they came out of San Francisco. See, that none of that makes any sense, but it doesn't matter anymore. We just go after them with the 12277. They're going to come back and they're going to say you don't qualify because of 6332J. That's a direct violation of the Privacy Act and the Paper Reduction Act. Here's my proof. And now you have something we can argue with them about instead of saying, but I'm not required because there's no law that says I have to. This would just let you have some kind of an argument. If you have to, you can go to the Attorney General because now you have them violating the law. Does that make any sense for you?
Yes, it does.
All right. Ed said we're done, but I'm going to give you one more question. If anybody has one more question, I'll do my best to try to help you. I'll try to answer it. Okay. Thank you for being here. Hopefully yes. Yes.
Somebody could fix and ask the question.
No, I was just going to unmute and say thank you so much for sharing your knowledge.
Oh, we're glad you came. We're glad you're here.
Thank you. We're just glad you're here. And like I say, if you need to get a hold of me, on the bottom of the email you got has Ed's email address. Email Ed, and he'll email me, and I'll call you.
Yeah.
And if you need any forms or anything, I'll help you with that too. And the guy that talked to us earlier, thank you.
You're welcome. My last statement was between 1995 and 2017, everything was thrown out because they did not have jurisdiction. I did not receive a notice of anything. So I did get a letter from the Department of Treasury saying that everything was thrown out of court, and I don't owe them anything. They'll have to start over in 2018.
So you can watch it unfold before your eyes. So thank you for being here. Hopefully I was of help to you. If you have any questions, we are reachable, hopefully. Thank you.
Our next call is the 22nd. And